To start off, let me tell you this. This game is part skill, part strategy, and a whole lot of luck. You can be insanely good and still lose simply because you got unlucky. So if anyone tells you that you will win every time after watching their guide, yeah, they're lying. I'm just here to explain how to play. Why sometimes you win but actually lose 300 points? What is a pong? What is a gong? Do you win with the cards in front of you or the ones on the table? Why can you take other players' cards sometimes but not always? So let's start. You win with a card in your hands, so the tile of cards that's nearest to your person, not the ones laying out on the table. That's the cards that you threw away. However, if you pawn or gone, these sets are placed on the table but still counts as part of your cards. They are usually placed at the right corner of your screen. Sometimes when you use someone else's discarded cards to win, that winning tile stays in their discarded pile. So, what are discarded tiles and what are the differences from the tiles you drew yourself? In short, it's always better if you drew yourself. If you win using someone else's tile, you get 10 points for the basic sets. If you win using a tile you drew yourself, even though it's the same basic sets, you get 20 points. That is called self-touch or self-draw. If you gone with a tile from someone else, that's 20 points. But if you self-draw and gone, that is 30 points. A pawn is 3 of the same tiles, and a gone is 4 of the same tiles. There are in total 4 tiles for every type of cards. You win by forming 4 sets and a pair. The 4 sets can be 3 consecutive numbers and or 3 of the same cards. Take a look here. We have 1, 2, 3, which is consecutive numbers, right? And a pair, which is 2, 7. And then we have 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, which are also a consecutive number set, right? And then we have 4 line, 5 line, and 6 line, which are also a consecutive number. And then the last one we have is 7 line, 8 line, and 9 line, which are also consecutive numbers. That's what I mean. You don't necessarily need both of the same tiles and the consecutive numbers, because as you can see here, I don't have any of the pawns, right? I only have consecutive numbers. In comparison, let's see another tile. So this is also a winning tile. It is a basic set. The first 2s are the pair, so 3 ones, and then we have 3 of the same card, which is 9 ones. We have 3. And then we have 4, 5, 6 pies. So that's a set. And then we have 6, 7, 8. So that's 1. Then we have 7, 8, 9. So that's another. So even though the last 6 cards are placed in a different way, you can see that in total they have 6, 7, 8, and 7, 8, 9s. Now some of you might be asking me, what do you mean 3, 4, 5? I cannot see, like, what is 3? What is 5? There is no number on it. So that is a great question. I felt the same way when I started to play Mahjong, and I'm afraid, brother, you will have to count them. I will post a picture later, tell you about like what are the ones are for, which Chinese number means 1. But for all the others, you can totally just count them. Like, for example, do you see how many circles are in this? Like, you can literally just count them. So the last one, 1, 2, 3, 3 blue ones, 3 red ones, and 3 green ones. Put that together, it's 9. So that's 9 circles. This tile means 9 circles. It's that simple. Yeah, this one I'm pointing out, it's 1, 2, 3. It's that simple. Like, you can just literally count them. You might be thinking, What do you mean? Like, I have to count them every time I play? Well, obviously, as you are more familiar with this game, you're gonna remember what each of these cards actually look like. But for the beginning, yes, you will have to count them. You can take a screenshot, but they do show the numbers on top of it. So that's a basic version. If you manage fancier hands, like all the tiles from the same suit, all of your tiles are ones, or all of your tiles are pies. Or if you win by everything is pawns or pairs, you get extra points. Some of the points are crazy. Yes, indeed, you can be winning with like 300 points or even more, which you can check over here. Obviously, I'm playing on the Chinese version, so it's all in Chinese, but yours are gonna be in English, obviously, because the gun is worth 20 points. So if you have a chance to gun, you should always do that instead of immediately winning with a basic hand. For example, here you can see I got 90 points and was ranked number 1 for this game, but it also says in the end that nobody wins this time. That is because I got several guns on my table. Because if you self-draw a gun which will give you at least 30 points, even if you take someone else's card and then gun, it has 20 points. But if you win with someone else's card, you're gonna only get 10 if you don't have any of the fancy moves. So yes, it is always better to gun instead of win. Especially if you're watching this video, that means you're a beginner at this. At the start of the game, it asks you to discard one type of tiles. The recommended choice is usually super accurate and solid, especially for beginners. So if you're new, just follow the suggestions. They're not lying to you most of the time. However, if you're more experienced, you can decide based on potential. So we already know you win 3 of the same cards or 3 consecutive cards. So obviously you want your cards to be consecutive numbers or the same numbers, right? For example, this time the system told me to discard the pies. But look at my characters. For the ones, I only have 1, 2, 5, and 8. That is going nowhere. Like, to make sense, I need a 3, or I need 3, 4 to do 5, or 4, 6 to do 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth, right? Whereas for the pies, I already have 2 5s. This could be a great potential for like pawns already, or I can just use that for the final pair. That's how you decide like which cards you have to discard. But I will say though, most of the time the system will calculate your winning chance. Even if you're super experienced, the system won't be lying to you. So you're always kind of safe doing that. Alright? So why can't you take someone else's card this one time, but the other time they have something you need and you cannot take them? So the system only allows you to pawn or gun with someone else's card or win, for example. So let's say if you have 1, 2, and the other person gives out 3, you are able to take their cards if this is your winning set, right? So if your set is already like everything is here, you only need that 3 from another player. That's when they will allow you to take that 3 to win. However, in normal circumstances, if your card is not about to win, you can only pawn or gun with other people's cards. So let's say if you have 2 3s and someone else have another 3 that you need, this is when you can actually take that from them. But yeah, like I said, if you have 1, 2 and he has a 3, you can take it if it's not the winning card. Why do you win by 10 points and someone else didn't win and they actually gained 80? So you ended up losing points even if you won. Like, how does that work? Yeah, that can happen if someone do a lot of gun they can score way higher than your 10-point win, even if they didn't win this round per se. That is why sometimes the game asks you, do you want to win now or wait? Because maybe you can form a better set of cards. But personally though, if I have a chance to win and there is no chance to gong, I will just always win. Because like you literally never know. Maybe the next round someone else will win and take 40 more points from you. You know what I mean? Winning for 10 at least protects your points and prevent further deductions. Okay, that is the basics, and now let's see a real playthrough and let me tell you why I made these decisions. So to start off, they want me to choose one, and it actually made sense because look at the one. It's 1, 4, 5, and 8. It's going nowhere. Whereas I already have a set 1, 2, 3 pies. I also have 2 potential sets for 1, 2 line and 4 and 6 line. So at the beginning, you don't really have to think. This is not the thinking part. Your only job is to throw out all of the cards that you already chosen because they won't allow you to throw away any other cards than the type of cards that you just chose, right? For me, I chose 1. In this period of time, I don't need to think. All I need to do is throw away all of my ones. Now, after that is done, here is the thinking part. Let's see what we have right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is good. All we need is a 6 or another 3. Then we have 2, 8, which is also great. We can use that as the final pair, or we can have another 8 to make a pawn, right? And that concludes all of my pies. Now, what about the lines? So the chicken thingy, that is 1 line, right? The chicken thingy, I have 1, and then 2, 3. So that's already another set. And then we look at the final thing, which is 4, 5, 6. So for this set, I'm already super lucky. Like, I think I need 1 more card in order to win. I was like, surely I will win first. However, did you see that? Did you see that? This person already self-draw and they won by so many points, even though I was insanely lucky. Like, what the hell? Now, this is the tricky part. That is why I spent so long deciding what I wanted to do, is because now I don't have the pair. So the pair is actually the trickiest. The chance of you getting the same card is like so slim because like normally you're waiting for 2 cards, right? For example, if you have a 4 and a 5, normally you're waiting for 3 or 6. So like your chances are pretty big. Whereas right now I'm waiting for a 4 because I have 1, 2, 3. That's a set. And then I have 1, 2, 3 for the lions, and that's another set. And then I have 4, 5, 6, which is another set. And I also have another set at the right corner of my table, which is the 8 pie pawn. You can probably see the cards that I already set on the table. I actually have 2 5s and I throw them away. That is why it took me a while to win. But why did I throw away the 5 instead of 4? There is actually a reason for that. I can win by 2 different cards. Do you know which 2? Like, I can win if I draw another 1 pie, which I did from that person sitting across me, or I can win by drawing a 4 pie. Because you can make 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4. If, for example, you're like me, you're stuck by needing a pair instead of like all the other regular sets, this is the way to do it. But this is what I mean, like even if you're insanely lucky, maybe someone is even luckier than you, you know? Okay, let's see another set. Now they're asking me to get rid of the pies. I only have 3 pies. All the other cards, I have way more. And for the lines, I already have like 2 possibilities. One of them could already be the pair. The other one could get a pawn. Whereas the pies, I only have a potential 1 pair. Again, at the beginning, you don't have to think. Now you have to think. So right now I have 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, 8. So I could potentially be taking away the 2s. However, now I have a pawn. Now I need to get rid of the 1. Now let's see. 3, 4, 5, that's already a set. And I actually pawned another time with a bird. This is definitely tricky. This is, again, having to win with 1 card is so much harder. Normally, at this point, I will suggest you to not do what I did, to actually not pawn with a bird. However, you're gonna see later why sometimes it's good to pawn actually with your pair. So I thought, oh my gosh, I have 3, 4, 5. Now I can win with a 2 or another 5. But if you haven't noticed, I already have 3 2 1s. What are the chances of me getting another? I actually got another. So now instead of when, I actually chose gone, which means I will definitely get more points. And here I have another one that I have to gone. I chose it again, and now I have like 0 chance to win with this card because I will have to have another 5-1, which is going to be super difficult. However, in the end, I actually got 90 points despite not being able to win. This is what I said about always gone instead of win. Unless, of course, you are winning with some fancy cards. For example, all of your cards were 1s, or like you have only pawns instead of the 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, that sort of stuff.